So Bria Hartley is driving in. Sophie Cunningham, or Kelsey Mitchell comes down. Sophie Cunningham overhelps. And Bria Hartley just kind of plows through her leg by the looks of things. She kind of plows through the knee. And Sophie's holding like her patella.
Sophie Cunningham. Oh, man. I got to tell you, this victory, it came with a big price. Bria Hartley, let me just start there because we've got Sophie Cunningham's sister and mother weighing in on the league. And Bria Hartley right here. This is Hartley right here coming in.
She tries to slide over right there. And Hartley just kind of falls
and
and
she crushes in
immediately
on the knee of Sophie right here.
She went down hard. It was,
and that was it.
The Indiana Fever are being systematically dismantled, and the WNBA is letting it happen. What was supposed to be a dream season for Caitlin Clark has devolved into a nightmare of suspicious injuries, blatantly biased officiating, and a league office that seems more interested in punishing dissent than protecting its players.
As an Indiana Fever fan, this absolutely sucks. I mean, first we lose CC. We don't know when she's coming back, if she's coming back. And now this happens to Sophie Cunningham. Are we just cursed?
This is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there. And Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it.
This isn't a story about a team having bad luck. The evidence points to something far more deliberate, a potential conspiracy to sabotage the league's biggest star and the team that was built around her. The war on the Indiana Fever is happening in plain sight, and it threatens the very integrity of the sport.
It looked bad. She's going to be done for the year. I don't know how much longer the Indiana Fever can continue to survive with these injuries. I just have to be honest. I got to be real. We lost Sydney Colson to a torn ACL. Ari McDonald broken bone in her foot. Caitlin Clark has played like 12 games all year or something like that. DeWanna Bonner scammed us. I mean, it's been a complete shit show, to say the least. It's been a shit show. I just got to be honest.
The Fever's injury report reads less like a sports update and more like a casualty list from a battlefield. First, it was Caitlin Clark, the generational talent who has been in and out of the lineup with nagging injuries all season. Then, in a single game against the Phoenix Mercury, the team was gutted. Ari McDonald went down with a season-ending broken bone in her foot, and in the same game, Sydney Colson suffered a torn ACL, also ending her season.
I mean, immediately in the game, the refs was just on some ish, bro. Just on something, and y'all know what I always say, man. What if Sophie or somebody was your aunt, your niece, your daughter? You know, you got to put yourself in reality, you know, because she is somebody's daughter, she is somebody's sister, and this is just unfortunate. And those of you who don't think a civil rights investigation need to be brought upon this league is tripping. This civil rights investigation.
Just as the team tried to recover from that devastating blow, Sophie Cunningham was taken out by a painful knee injury after a clumsy collision. Multiple essential players, a huge portion of their backcourt, wiped off the roster.
Sophie Cunningham lying down, clearly in pain, visible pain, agony, pain, stays down. Got to cut to commercial. The medical staff comes around her. She looks like she walked off on her own accord, but it looked like she walked off in pain on her own accord. Out for the rest of the game. Only played 10 minutes. And that's where Lexi Hull needed to step up, and step up she did. Step up she did.
This isn't normal attrition. This is a crisis so severe the Fever had to sign emergency hardship contracts just to have enough healthy bodies to put on the floor. A team that started the season with championship aspirations is now literally signing players off the street to survive.
Sophie's sister Lindsay and her mom Paula. At WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, officially, my two favorite players in this league that I really love to, particularly love to pull for, they're both out now. And it did not look good. No word on that, by the way.
Caitlin Clark, the player who single-handedly rewrote viewership records and brought massive revenue and attention to the WNBA, has been forced to watch from the sidelines for huge stretches of the season. Her body has been beaten down by a relentless physical assault that goes far beyond tough defense. First, a quad strain put her out for weeks. Then came a groin injury that cost her another long stretch. And just when she seemed to be hitting her stride, she suffered another groin injury in the middle of summer that has kept her off the court for an extended period, with no clear timetable for her return.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
You can literally hear her screaming in pain. It's so heartbreaking. Indiana Fever star guard Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer, had a lower leg injury today against the Connecticut Suns.
This isn't just about playing hard. It's about a pattern of aggression that the league has refused to address. Her head coach, Stephanie White, has been vocal, stating that the constant physicality opponents are allowed to use against her is a direct factor in these recurring injuries.
When they got a damn lawsuit, it is Sophie as well. It's Sophie as well. Just the amount of calls, the way she's been treated. Watch. I mean, just immediately. First, look at this. Instantly into the game. Instantly. Immediately, Sophie got hammered. They had a target to hurt Sophie. She was targeted by this team for a reason. They wanted to hurt Sophie. They made it their business to hurt Sophie.
White explained that the constant bumping, grabbing, and hitting affects how Clark moves, loads, and explodes, arguing that over time it can contribute to the breakdowns we're seeing. It's a cumulative toll from a war of attrition the referees are allowing to happen every single night. The most damning evidence of a league-wide problem lies with the officials.
I told y'all Bria Hartley is a dirty player. She's no different than Dejanay Carrington. It just doesn't get as much publicity because the Connecticut Sun stink. Point blank, period. She's reckless. She injured Sophie Cunningham. It is a travesty. Stephanie White, you better go and you need to be buying Kelsey Mitchell food all week. You need to send her a personal masseuse because she saved your job tonight. Your ass should have been fired if y'all had lost today. Point blank and period. You was horrible. Bro, before you could sneeze, achoo, we was down by 10 plus points in the first quarter.
Fans, coaches, and players have been sounding the alarm all season about inconsistent, biased, and downright dangerous officiating. After a heartbreakingly close loss to the Dallas Wings, social media exploded with accusations of corruption and incompetence from enraged Fever fans. The frustration boiled over when Coach Stephanie White, already fined once for criticizing officials, unloaded in a press conference. She declared that post player Aaliyah Boston is the worst officiated post player in the league, and that there's a clear double standard in how fouls are called, or rather, not called, for her team. She pointed out that if the game is going to be physical, it needs to be called evenly for both sides, a consistency she and her team are simply not getting. It paints a picture of a league where the rules seem to be selectively enforced, leaving the Fever at a distinct disadvantage.
There's only 13 teams in the WNBA. 8 of them go to the playoffs. Not 6, not 4, 8. Over 50% of them go to the playoffs. So when you are supposed to win games that you're supposed to win, you're supposed to just take care of business. I don't care if they lost Caitlin Clark. They still have Kelsey Mitchell. They have Aaliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham. Hope she feels better. Lexi Hall. They have talent on this team. They have enough talent. Howard.
When players dare to speak out about this blatant incompetence, the league doesn't fix the problem. It silences the messenger. No one knows this better than Sophie Cunningham. She has been repeatedly targeted by the WNBA's front office for the crime of telling the truth. First, the league hit her with a significant fine for a TikTok video where she lip-synced lyrics calling the refs useless. When that didn't quiet her, she used her podcast to voice her frustration, saying the refs are just so inconsistent, and that fining her wasn't going to do shit. For that, the league tripled down, hitting her with an even heavier fine.
Sophie's mother, Paula, Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's plain mean and plays out of control. So, what can you say? I do not blame Sophie's mother and sister for being upset. Marina Mabrey went nuts in this game, scored 27.
The message is crystal clear. Sit down, shut up, and accept the abysmal officiating. The league seems more interested in protecting the fragile egos of its referees than in protecting the health and safety of its star players. This isn't accountability, it's a cover-up. The frustration has reached such a fever pitch that players' families are now going public. After Sophie Cunningham was injured in a play that many felt was reckless and preventable, her sister Lindsay Cunningham took to social media with a blistering attack on the league. She tagged the WNBA's official account and wrote, "Maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes." Pathetic. The post perfectly captured the feeling of injustice shared by players and fans. Sophie's own mother reportedly posted and then deleted comments calling the opponent's play reckless and out of control. When families feel compelled to publicly call out the league for failing to do its job, it signals a complete loss of faith in the system. It's an indictment of a league that appears to prioritize punishing dissent over ensuring player safety.
And we have no idea when Caitlin Clark is coming back or if she is coming back at all. Every time that they get asked, they just say TBD. We have no idea what's going on, which is, in my opinion, quite suspicious. You kind of know what is going to happen with an injury. The doctors can give you an estimate. The player can tell you, you know, I'm not really feeling that great. I don't expect to be coming back, but she has been practicing with the team. Maybe she's going to come back for the playoffs and help them get that championship, or at least try to get the championship.
So what's the motive? Why would the WNBA allow its most marketable team to be systematically dismantled? The answer may lie in the numbers. Before this catastrophic wave of injuries, the Indiana Fever were a virtual lock to make the playoffs. As player after player went down, that probability has plummeted to a dangerously uncertain position. The team has tumbled down the standings, with other teams now nipping at their heels. Think about it. Caitlin Clark and the Fever weren't just winning. They were exposing the gap in talent and excitement across the league. Their primetime games were must-see TV, but the blowout victories threatened to make other matchups seem second-rate. This theory suggests the league, in a twisted attempt to create parity and level the playing field, has allowed the Fever's competitive advantage to be neutralized through physical brutality and questionable officiating. It's a shocking thought, but as the injuries pile up and the losses mount, it becomes harder and harder to dismiss. When you connect all the dots, the pattern is impossible to ignore. This season was supposed to be the coronation of Caitlin Clark and the rise of a new WNBA dynasty. Instead, it has become a cautionary tale. It began with a relentless physical assault on the league's brightest star, which the officials consistently ignored. When that predictably led to injuries, the team's foundation began to crack. Then, in a statistically improbable series of events, more key players were wiped out for the season. And when the team's coach, its players, and even their families dared to demand accountability for the poor officiating that contributed to this crisis, what did the league do? It didn't launch an investigation. It didn't promise reform. It issued fines and gag orders. Every path to justice has been systematically blocked.
This is a play where Sophie Cunningham is dribbling toward the baseline. As you can see, she catches the ball in the wing, dribbles down, and then JC Sheldon kind of body checks her out of bounds, but the referee didn't call a foul there. He just called it an out of bounds. Like, Sophie Cunningham ran out of bounds is what he called. So you watch her here, dribbles, pushed out of bounds. Sophie's like, oh, of course, it's going to be a foul. No, it wasn't. That wasn't a foul. This one, she actually quote tweeted herself. As you can see, she's running up and then Hartley kind of elbows her in the neck and Sophie falls to the ground. Now she reposted this and she said, "They said I flopped, LOL." So I guess the referees told her that she flopped on that play, or the players, who knows. Somebody told her that she flopped on that play. This is Aaliyah Boston and Tina Charles, and they are battling in the post. And then you can see
this is bigger than just one team's playoff chances. This is about the fundamental integrity of the WNBA. Is this a legitimate professional sports league that values and protects its athletes, or is it a league so obsessed with control that it would sacrifice its own golden goose to maintain the status quo? The WNBA wanted the Caitlin Clark effect. The sold-out arenas, the record-breaking TV deals, the mainstream attention, but they may have just created the Caitlin Clark controversy instead. The league is now at a crossroads. Step up and protect its players, or continue down this dark path and risk alienating the millions of new fans who came to watch a superstar, not a takedown. What we are witnessing isn't just one team's struggle, it could be the unraveling of the league's entire credibility.